My original plans for this schedule of OKKO Marathon is doing an anthology of all the Dendy episodes, but that was also when I was considering on eliminating the weekend videos when it comes to Sundays and Saturdays. And the truth is that we thinking about this planned anthology is mainly the fact that this kind of gave me Steven and Connie vibes from Steven Universe. But as it turns out, this isn't about romance, this is just about friendship, and it's always friendship until the end. But when it comes to this schedule, since everything has been planned out fine by reviewing all the episodes and only doing one anthology that centers around the college that Enid goes to, literally everyone else wins. So rewatching this episode, how the heck did I not remember this episode? Literally, this episode made me appreciate the chemistry of relationships, even though that this has nothing to do with romance. The premise is that just the beginning of the episode, KO meets Dendy, who he is trying to help when it comes to getting parts for her backpack that are high-tech. It's not an ordinary backpack, it's high-tech. With the majority of the episode centers around KO and Dendy hanging out, without anything in the way despite the obstacle of what KO gets himself into. Honestly, even though that I thought that this was going to be a romance episode or a romance arc involving these two characters, but it doesn't really need to be Steven Universe and Connie whatsoever, judging of how the type of character that Dendy is and the type of character that KO is. Because the more I think about it, while KO resemblance of what a kid acts, similar to Steven Universe, Dendy doesn't resemblance of anything of what Connie is, considering that Connie isn't into technology. And I came to that conclusion because Dendy and Connie, despite having different tastes, though somewhat intelligent in some other way, it's just Dendy is into high tech while Connie is focusing on math, science, social studies, and whatnot, even though that when it comes to science, she is not a scientist. Then again, Connie is a bookworm, and I don't even think that Dendy is a bookworm when it comes to reading books. Unless if there's an episode that does center around her being into books, but that's probably unlikely after looking through all the episodes in preparation of reviewing them one by one. I've always feel like that this conclusion of KO being friends with Dendy and the fact that Dendy is trying to figure out a way to repair her hackback, which is what she calls her backpack. I really feel like that if she didn't get the idea of KO being into power cards, then they probably wouldn't have anything in common. And that's something that I really forgot, is the fact that the power cards are the reason onto why these two characters have paired up when it comes to friendship. Truth be told, if it wasn't for the fact that KO got trapped into junk, which ends up happening when it comes to his situation, I'm pretty sure that this moment between the two wouldn't be as effective. Especially since that Dendy does so much research when it comes to the power cards and the people that she studies based off of the power cards. Like, I can guarantee you that if she wasn't an expert on power cards, she wouldn't be able to help out KO in scenarios. Especially since that if she was focusing on just technology and nothing more when it comes to the technology that she works with, then her purpose would have been shallow, which is something that I would describe when it comes to the other episodes that featured her that I forgot, but that's basically everything else from the show. And in some other way, this scene while KO is trapped is somewhat similar to Connie getting trapped, even though that it's a lot more different since that Dendy isn't trapped like KO. And it's honestly odd that KO is crying rather than Dendy, but Dendy doesn't have emotions like Connie. And since that Steven doesn't really have emotions, he's somewhat like Dendy in a way. Well, you can see that the roles are reversed. Well, KO doubts himself, while Connie just wants to have a friend without being invisible all the time. Granted, Steven does have emotions. I did review all the episodes for a reason, but when it comes to the early episodes, it's a work in progress on Steven's development. And when it comes to what I see involving Dendy in this, the fact that she is willing to save KO since that he can't be able to get out on his own, it's kind of what makes Dendy a lot more different, to the point that if she understood romance, then I'm pretty sure that she would have looked into romance differently, but at the same time as a scientist. Not in a way, well, everyone else that isn't a scientist but finds love wouldn't be able to do the routes of what scientists would do in the same ways as Dendy. Granted, I know that Dendy is a high-tech person, since high-tech is, while scientific, is a lot more different when it comes to the type of material that you work with when it comes to high-tech. But after looking into it more, when it comes to the collection of Dendy's power cards, and the fact that she's getting to know KO a little bit more, honestly, she's a different character than Connie. Well, she takes time to understand KO to the point that after doing research on her final episode involving her relationship with KO, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't even work out for KO to find love whatsoever, because truth be told, not everyone, when it comes to main protagonists, needs love in order to continue a story. Granted, people still ship KO and Dendy, but at the same time, if I did this anthology video way ahead of time rather than saving these episodes for this marathon, I would have made the choice of doing a KO and Dendy anthology rather than just a Dendy anthology centering around the whole episodes. Especially since that whole final episode is part of the finale of this show. Even though I still prefer doing anthology videos once in a while, since I only do once of them per year, truth be told, if I did do an anthology involving Dendy, it will probably be unfocused. Especially since that doing so, if it had the idea of focusing on KO and Dendy, it wouldn't be anything spectacular, considering it would just be me shipping these two a little bit more, even though it's not going to be the same levels as Steven and Connie when I did a multi-part anthology centering around them. Truth be told, the only way for this type of anthology video would happen is if there were more episodes from this show. But then again, people really wanted more from this show rather than the disservice that it got due to it ending just after its 2-year run. But we're still in season 1, especially in the beginning of season 1 before we reach to episode 10. So anyway, I really enjoyed this episode with the introduction of Dendy, and I really enjoyed of how much that this episode impressed me. It's really a good thing that this show has been getting much more better as I rewatch it, since that the first episodes didn't really give out a good impression, but it didn't take that long. And it's not gonna take long to understand more about these characters upon rewatching these. Yeah, I am looking forward to talk about Professor Veminis once I get the chance, but we have a long ways of episodes until we get to this character. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10.